So my notes, I take notes, guys. I want to make sure I give you guys all the correct information, right? Under my notes, I have frilly dark leaves, easy plant. Its name is Dracula because it keeps coming back to life. No, not really, you know. Yeah, a little bit, maybe. Hi everyone, it's Melissa, your plantita abogada here at Tasteful Nodes, coming to you today with our first Halloween special. So yep, we are officially in October, and I will be sharing with you 5 episodes. I know, I joke in the past that I can't count. I can actually count, and we only have 4 Tuesdays in October, but we do have another Tuesday in November. And this Tuesday falls into the celebration of Undas, which is a celebration of All Souls Day and All Saints Day here in the Philippines. So it's a tradition where everyone spends time with their loved ones in cemeteries, you know, because loved ones aren't just the ones who are alive, also those who have gone before us, right? So I will be providing you guys with 5 Halloween episodes, and this is our very first one. But before I get started, I want to go ahead and make sure that we are familiar with all of our disclaimers because they're really important for today's episode. 1, KKB tayo, kanya-kanyang bayad. For our Westerner friends, you know this by heart by now, we each pay our own way. I'll be sharing 13 plants with you today, and they're all pretty awesome, and I mean, obviously they're in my collection, right? And I totally recommend them. However, I do not want to entice anyone to spend their rent money. We don't do that here, okay? I won't be paying any plant child support if you do. Number 2, I'm not an expert. In fact, far from it. I'm an attorney by profession. I'm not a botanist. I'm not a horticulturalist for that matter. I'm just a hobbyist like you. Whatever I find here from the experts, I'll go ahead and make sure to put at the bottom of your screen, and I'll go ahead and also include it in the description box down below. Number 3, because I'm not an expert, I do recommend that you get a second opinion on everything I offer you. Whether it be information regarding the plants, easy enough to search online, Google is your friend, just make sure you visit, you know, scholarly journals, websites of that matter. In this case, the patent office, if you want to go ahead and verify information I share. Also, if you're planning on purchasing any of these, I would go ahead and contact people within your community who actually have experience with these plants, just so that you know pricing and care specific to your general areas. Okay, and that's it. So today's episode is going to be dealing with the 13 black or dark leaf plants that you must have in your collection for Halloween or for always. At least these are the 13 black plants that I have in my collection, and I totally recommend to you guys to have in yours. Of course, I do have a few more in my collection that could have made this episode, but they will be appearing in other episodes, so I didn't want to go ahead and ruin the surprise. The very first plant on my list is the Colocasia esculenta Black Magic. And I know this guy isn't like black, right? In fact, he's kind of green, kind of dark olive green. I'll go ahead and put a video up here so you can see him closer. But this plant, I'll go ahead and show you the video I have of, and pictures of its mother plant, is actually quite dark once it hardens off and under certain lighting conditions. So the leaves have a velvety feel to it. The petioles are actually a dark violet, purple, not black, but definitely darker. It's an easy to grow plant. It belongs to the taro family, and if you're here in the Philippines or anywhere in Asia, you're pretty familiar with it, I'm sure, where taros actually grow, not by runners, what are they called? Root suckers? They grow by seed, they grow by corms or tubers, and they're just a really, really hardy plant, and they'll keep growing if you give them the chance to, which explains why these guys are on the invasive species list. So here in the Philippines, this is something that's endemic to us, right? Taro is. So we're perfectly fine with taro. Only thing is, you put these guys in the ground and they will go wild. They will go wild. They will spread like crazy. I'll go ahead and include a picture of our Black Magic at its peak, and you'll see what I'm talking about. These guys are highly adaptable to temperatures. They are highly adaptable to any kind of soil that you have. Our soil here is a little bit on the clayish side, constantly wet too. During the summers, it gets really hard. These guys survive the summers, and they come back during rainy season. So unless you are from an area where taro is endemic, yeah, I wouldn't recommend putting these guys in the ground. Keep them in a container that is waterproof so that the plant doesn't escape from any drainage holes on the bottom. My colocasias here on the property are actually either in the soil or in closed containers, right? Because these are water-loving plants and they love the sun as well. So I've got them in closed containers with a lot of water, and yeah, they just go off. They love it. It's great. So that's plant number one, the Colocasia esculenta Black Magic. Before I go in to plant number 2, 3, 4, and 5, I want to go in to discussing Philodendron erubescens really quick. So by the name erubescens, it means to blush. I'm referring to Philodendron erubescens, or the blushing philodendron. This is a plant that has green leaves, reddish petioles, flat upper portion of the petiole, and a terete, so a roundish bottom part of the petiole. Sometimes it has a red margin. The reason this plant is so important to discuss is because it's included in a lot of hybrids that are popular on the market right now. And it's also included in the lineage of the plants, the philodendrons, that I'm going to show you today. So the very first plant in this little philodendron series, so this is plant number 2 of our black plant or dark leaf plant list, right, is the Philodendron Majesty. So it's often mistakenly called Philodendron Black Majesty. I believe that's because there's a reddish leaf that's out there on the market. However, those are probably market names because it really is just known as Philodendron Majesty. Now, with the Philodendron Majesty, I came across this really interesting International Arid Society Facebook post asking about a whole bunch of dark-leafed or dark-petioled plants. Nurseryman and Anthurium breeder William Rotolante actually responded in one of the comments, and he's pretty well known in the international aroid community. Let me go ahead and get my notes because I want to make sure I have this down pat. I don't want to misquote anybody. He responded in the comment section saying that the Majesty, or the Bloody Mary, was a hybrid made by longtime hybridizer Robert Macaulay. Now, if you're familiar with the name Macaulay's Finale, yeah, seen by, right? And he said that the Majesty was made up of 6 species and backbreeding. So it's a more complicated hybrid. It wasn't just putting plants together, but then putting those plants together and then putting the offspring of those together. No, nothing like that. There's a lot of going back and forth between different seedlings and different species and possibly hybrids. You'll see why I say this in a second. When I went searching for more information, I found information from the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Yeah, this plant has been patented under Plant Patent 3535, which was patented on April 2nd, 1974, before I was even born even. It says, under the quote, under the name Philodendron plant, the Philodendron plant is described as a self-breeding of seedling, so self-breeding, meaning going back and forth, right, on itself, of seedling containing Winlandii, Philodendron Winlandii, erubescens, there's that name again, Philodendron erubescens, Philodendron hestatum, Philodendron imbe, and an unidentified species. There's the big question mark. Nobody knows what it is. The photograph that's included in the patent is actually black and white. It doesn't show us color. However, it very distinctly shows what the plant looked like, right? It's got these heart-shaped leaves, these ears, this pointed apex. And that's why I'm saying it is likely the patent for Black Majesty. Now, this, along with William Rotolante's comment about it being a hybrid by Bob Macaulay, this patent was registered under Bob Macaulay's name as well. So the abstract of the patent actually describes the nameless plant as having leaves that are thick, rubbery, and arrow-shaped. So we've got it really, really pointed down there. There we go. So the patent and longtime figures within the aroid community both confirm what a lot of people suspect is that patent 3535 is indeed that of Philodendron Majesty. Now, the second plant that I would recommend from dark leaf philodendrons, let me go ahead and leave this guy here for now. So this is plant number 3 on our list, okay? Would be the Philodendron Black Cardinal. And like I mentioned earlier, the Philodendron Majesty was a plant that was registered and patented by, registered and patented by Bob Macaulay, and so is the Black Cardinal. The Black Cardinal's information, if you want to search it online, the patent number is USPP 05355. So it's patent number 5355. What's special about this patent is it actually names the Black Cardinal. So it's in the patent itself and it's there. It is Philodendron Black Cardinal. No guessing games here, guys. The Philodendron Black Cardinal is described as having a similar lineage as that of Majesty, right? And I'll get the names right here, okay? It is described as being a hybrid involving Philodendron winlandii, again, same as Majesty, Hestatum erubescens, Imbe, and this is where things change. There's an additional name that's thrown into the mix. It is Philodendron, I'm a little nervous because it's long, so it's Philodendron fragrantissimum. Whew. Say that 5 times fast. Fragrantissimum, fragrantissimum, fragrantissimum. I think I can. Anyway, and there are also unidentified species involved in this lineage. So again, a complicated lineage, slightly different compared to the Philodendron Majesty, but just as gorgeous. So it seems like there was a period of time where Robert Macaulay was just really, really interested in dark leafed plants. And, you know, that's a great thing for those of us who actually enjoy the dark leaf plants, right? It is further described in the patent as being a compact philodendron, having broad, thick, leathery leaves. And I'll go ahead and show you a picture of my mother plant of this guy, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, which are brick red when newly unfurled. Ah, no, we're not there. Haven't unfurled yet. It looks like it'll be a while. And becoming black red when hardened. So here we go. The black red leaves. According to the patent, and this is something that I also noticed here on my end, the Black Cardinal can withstand low lighting conditions, lower humidity, and higher temperatures. And that's something that we see here in the Philippines. Okay, for the Westerner friends, we do not have philodendrons native to the Philippines. So what I'm about to say might be a little confusing, but I'll try my best not to confuse anyone. You'll see sellers online who say local Black Cardinal or imported Black Cardinal. When they refer to local Black Cardinal, they're referring to plants that were locally propagated here, plants that have been here for a while. So that's all it is. So the local Black Cardinals, I mean, they flourish. They get huge here, as you've seen from my mother plant. I mean, they really enjoy the temperatures and the humidities. Yeah, we do have different humidity across the country. So they do enjoy the conditions that we provide here. And I mean, these guys flourish. If you have similar conditions, I mean, this guy will flourish with you as well. Okay, the third plant on our list, and I have a bigger one that I'll go ahead and post pictures of throughout the video. But for this, there's a method to my madness. Just, you gotta trust me in this one, okay? This is the 4th recommended dark leaf or black leaf plant on my list. This is the 3rd philodendron for that matter, would be the Philodendron Pink Princess. And this is the little itty bitty pink princess that I have. So I had a few pink princesses. I've chopped one up into a few propagations from that. And I lost a few during the greenhouse crash. But it was important for me to choose a smaller Philodendron Pink Princess because I have another philodendron to compare it to afterwards, so bear with me. The Philodendron Pink Princess has a little bit of conflicted history online. Let me just dive into it, okay? So there are some people who say that the Philodendron Pink Princess is a mutation, right? The Missouri Botanical Garden, of which Dr. Tom Croat is a curator for, actually lists it down as a hybrid. And I tried to look for more information either way, and I couldn't find anything. So I will just go ahead and describe to you what I have here in front of me. The Philodendron Pink Princess has a darker stem, has dark petioles as well. On the petioles, you'll see some pink, and on the leaves themselves, they come out a darker color. Some of them come out almost pitch black, and they have either bright pink, depending on whether they're new leaves, or a faded pink variegation on the leaves themselves. So with this plant, it's kind of obvious based on looking at these two guys that it's likely a Philodendron erubescens descendant somewhere, possibly a mutation. We don't know, but erubescens has a big part in the Philodendron Pink Princess. And now I go to my 5th recommended black leaf plant or dark leaf plant, and it is this guy. So the next plant is a Philodendron Orange Princess. And the reason that I said I needed a smaller version of this, of the Pink Princess, is to compare it to the Philodendron Orange Princess, because there's a lot of confusion on where this plant even came from. To the best of my knowledge, and if you haven't seen my video unboxing this Orange Princess, you might want to check it out because it's a little bit more thorough, but I'll go ahead and give a brief background on this guy. To my knowledge, the first person who posted about it actually said that she purchased her Orange Princess from a seller whose mother plant was a Pink Princess. Pink, orange, orange, pink. What's going on? So the person who posted, the very first one that I've seen, said that her Orange Princess was a mutation of the Pink Princess. And she even shared a picture of the mother plant. That information, along with that link, is available in my Orange Princess unboxing video. Check that out if you want more information on that. When I see these two guys together, yeah, there are obvious differences. There really are. And I'll go ahead and show a side-by-side here on the screen for you. But when the Orange Princess's new leaves come out, these little speckled variegations over here actually come out like a neon orange color. That's the best I could come up with, is a neon orange. Highlighter neon orange. So if you've ever highlighted with neon orange, you know what I'm talking about. That's the color that these leaves come out, and they come out on a really dark leaf, similar to the Pink Princess. So where the Pink Princess normally comes out with a neon pink, newly unfurled leaf, the Orange Princess comes out with an orange, highlighter orange, neon variegation with its newly unfurled leaves. And then the leaves actually start hardening to a darker green. Sometimes this is a newer leaf, but the darker greens. And the darker greens start showing that the variegation actually hardens to like a lighter green. So it's a very odd plant. It's a really cool plant too. As soon as you see that newly unfurled leaf, I mean, it's just gorgeous. And I'll post a picture of the newly unfurled leaf because I don't have video of it, I'm sure. But yeah, something I would definitely recommend if you could find it easily in your area, and especially if you are a Pink Princess fan. These two go well together. Think Super Mario, Princess Peach and Princess Daisy. Yeah, orange and pink. They will go well together. Now, I'm gonna break up the aroid love fest really quick because it's not just aroids that have black foliage, right? No. So let's go ahead and dive into two plants that are not aroids and that are actually on this black leaf plant list, okay? The first one, and this is plant number 6, is the Sinocrassula Yunnanensis. So it's this cutie right here. And this plant is actually a succulent. If you pay more attention to the name, you'll hear the Sino, which refers to Chinese, China. So it's a Chinese crassula, right? And it is one of 8 species within the genus. I believe there was one species that was found recently in Vietnam. The other one can be located China, Bhutan, Nepal, northern India, Pakistan. Yeah, so those areas, I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, yeah, good deal. And then the remaining 6 are actually found in Chinese regions, Yunnan and Sichuan. So there you go. Definitely Sinocrassula, mostly Chinese crassulas. And this guy specifically is a pretty neat plant. So he's got these little banana-shaped leaves, right? And they're succulents, clearly, but they fan out or they grow out in a rosette pattern. So it's really neat. If you do keep it in better lighting conditions, like higher lights, it will get darker. This guy has been with us for a few weeks, and it's been here in our pool area because I wanted to make sure it was safe from any predators outside. So he's not as dark as he can be. But I did have a Cinocracula Yunnanensis that was murdered when I was on vacation one time, and that one was just gorgeous. It was so dark and just gorgeous, and I'll go ahead and post a picture of it on the screen. With this guy, you want to keep it in gritty mixes and you want to forget about it. I mean, you don't want to water it often. He does not like being watered often, and from what I understand, that's because they are found in rocky mountainsides in their natural environments. So yeah, a plant that is low maintenance and gorgeous and appeals to the dark parts of your soul, like it does mine. When and I'll go ahead and put that little guy right here. Cute little pot for my sister. She got in Korea a few years ago, and it also honed my last Sinocrassula Yunnanensis, so it's just fitting. It has to be there. The second plant, the second non-aroid on my list, is the Begonia Bungei. And this thing, you know, I'm not the best begonia owner. This guy makes me feel like I am the best. Really. It's got these gorgeous black leaves, quite substantial in terms of like comparing it to the Majesty, perhaps even the black Cardinal. So it's a thicker leaf. It's got these frilly little hairy sides, edges. It's just such a gorgeous plant. And it's an easy plant on top of that. I mean, it really struggles during the summer here because it's super hot and they don't do well under those conditions. But come rainy season, it always flourishes and blooms and does super well. And she gives me hope for other begonias, you know? Like if I ever want to try my hand at Begonia Darth Vaderiana ever again. She gives me hope. So, according to my notes, the bunchii is a sport of the hybrid Begonia erythrophila, which you can see, you know, we've got the red underneath. So the erythro red, which is a cross between Begonia, why do I do this to myself? Begonia hydrocodifolia and Begonia manicata. This guy lives in my greenhouse exposed to the elements. I have a 70% shade net there. It is in loamy soil, meaning, you know, we've got a little bit of compost in there, some bark, we've got some organic materials, we have sand. So that's the kind of stuff that she likes. And that is where my non-aroids end. I mean, there's so many dark leaf or black leafed aroids that it was kind of hard not to just do an aroid episode, but I had to include this plant. I do have a bromeliad that has black leaves as well, but she was eaten up by grasshoppers last week. I should have put her somewhere safe for the episode, but maybe next time I'll include her. The next plant on my list, this is plant number 8 out of 13, so we've got 5 more to go after this, is the Raven ZZ plant. And I know what you're saying, or what you're possibly saying. ZZ plant is an aroid? Yeah, I was this year's old when I found that out too. I just found out this year. Who would have thought that the potato plant, because I mean, if you've ever repotted your ZZ plant, you've seen those little potatoes at the bottom. You know what I'm talking about. Who would have thought that those guys are aroids, right? Because philodendrons don't have potatoes, neither do anthuriums, but yeah, it's an aroid. If you see its inflorescence, it's the same inflorescence as anthuriums and Alocasias and, you know, philodendrons for that matter, with the spadix and all that. So the ZZ plant, and I'm going to read my notes because this is going to be a hard one for me to say. ZZ plant stands for Zamioculcas zamifolia. Zamioculcas zamifolia. It usually comes in green. It's easier to find in green. And this raven one just came out a few years ago and sent the entire plant community a buzz. Just because, come on, black leaf plants, right? Now, the dark leaf version of the ZZ plant is the Raven ZZ. Or, let me get this right, okay? So it is registered as Zamioculcas zamifolia down one. So that's D-O-W-O-N. Yeah, I can spell. It is better known in the plant community under its commercial name, which is Zamioculcas zamifolia raven, or by its common market name, which is Raven ZZ. It is such an easy plant, and it's also easy to kill. And let me explain to you why. I've killed one of these before, a few years ago, in fact, before I actually started getting serious about my plants. With these guys, it is probably best to keep them in smaller pots rather than bigger pots, because the potatoes don't like to be wet all the time, and you risk rot if you keep the potatoes wet. So the less amount of media that you have in your pot to hold water, the less likely it is to rot from water damage or from too much watering. The lighting conditions for this guy, I mean, it's a range from low light to bright and direct. I have not tried it in direct sunlight, and I don't want to try it because it's one of my favorite plants. What else do I say about this? Oh, yeah, so Raven ZZs are black plants, right? Yeah, see how dark these guys are? So they're black plants, but if you see the new growth coming out, a bright neon green stalk and leaves, don't panic, it's not reverting. That's really what the new leaves come out as. They come out bright green against these dark older leaves, and then they actually turn darker as they harden. So yeah, it's a great plant to have, and an easy plant at that. So remember in the beginning when I said I'm not an expert? Yeah, we're going into not an expert territory right now. And this is where I would definitely recommend that you get a second opinion on everything I say, especially if you're trying to hunt these plants down, okay? And I'll go ahead and provide you information based on my experiences and observations. So please don't quote me. Fantastic. The next plant on our list is actually this guy. This is the Anthurium black Garuda. And you say, black? Where's the black here? That's bright green. There's the black. Yeah, so bright green against the black. Yep, definitely there. The Anthurium black Garuda is a broadleaf Anthurium. It's really hard for me to search for any lineage information on these guys because we don't really keep good documentation on who was bred to what Anthurium. So it really depends, I guess, on the appearance of the inflorescences along with the leaves. The plant closest to the Anthurium black Garuda that I was able to find is the Anthurium black dragon, which again, I'm not sure if that's even a name that's universal to everyone, just because I have a feeling it's also a market name. But the main difference between the black Garuda and the black dragon is that the black dragons I've seen online are just start out as bright green and darken to a black or a purple leaf, whereas the black Garuda actually start out as a green leaf with light green variegations, and then over time it actually hardens to a darker black leaf with lighter or pink variegations on it. This is also in the greenhouse under a 70% shade net. We do have it in a lot of coconut cubes and pumice because it prefers to be on the drier side, and its roots are just gorgeous on this plant. It also is a very, very giving plant in terms of seeds. So this year alone, we've had 2 batches of seeds that we've planted. The seedlings are now showing variegation. They're like yay high. I'll go ahead and see if I could post a few of them, a few pictures in this video, but they're already showing variegations. They are green, So it remains to be seen whether or not they'll get darker as they get older. But it's a pretty cool plant and something I would definitely recommend if you have the space and budget for these guys. Okay. The next plant on my list, and this is number 10 on my list, is the Anthurium Black Beauty. And it would be this gorgeous plant right here. Gorgeous, gorgeous plant. And yes, possibly another hybrid, possibly another made-up name, possibly just a market name. Yeah, that would be this plant. It is a broad-leafed anthurium that has frilly edges on its leaves and just gorgeous. The leaves come out a bright green, like this guy right up here. Yeah, see how bright that is? And then they darken over time. And it's just a fantastic plant, so easy to care for. I will go ahead and share a secret with you just because it's not that pretty. So I had it in this nice little decorative catch pot. But check this out. This is how easy this plant is, right? I buy these garbage cans, these waste baskets, the plastic waste baskets, and then I put holes at the bottom of the pots to allow drainage and aeration. And these guys go nuts and they love it. So if you've got anthuriums and you're having problems with the anthurium, you know, 99 problems, but an anthurium should it be one? That should be the name of that song. Anthuriums really do enjoy aerated roots, so it's really important to them. Make sure that your mix is nice and airy. Make sure that you provide extra drainage and aeration opportunities through your pot container, your choice of pot. The closest plant that I've seen to this one is the Anthurium Marie, and I know that one is better available in the United States. So if you're there, you might want to grab yourself an Anthurium Marie. But if you do order from Asia, you know, try to find an Anthurium Black Beauty. Just a gorgeous plant, nice, stiffer leaves, green, black, purple, can't go wrong. Now that I'm done with those guys, I have this guy. And earlier I said it's hard to find information, right? Well, this guy was not. In fact, I found information from one of the queens of the International Aroid Society, and that is Larry Ann Garner. Found her write-up on davesgarden.com. And this guy is the Alocasia Reginula, or better known as Alocasia Black Velvet. So it's true to its name, the leaves are velvety, and you know, the black depends on whether or not you have it in, you know, the best lighting conditions it could possibly be in. So with this guy, I have it in a better draining soil mix than I used to have it in. And oh my gosh. So it would keep dying on me and I couldn't understand why. Reginula, according to Larry Ann, actually means little queen. And boy, does she act like royalty, okay? She does not like being coddled. She does not like being loved on too much, you know, just like a cat. Give her what she wants and leave her alone. That is the Alocasia Black Velvet. I mean, in a nutshell, right? Yeah, so leaves range from green to black depending on lighting conditions. I like this. This is a tip I'm borrowing from Larry Ann to share with you guys because she's the one who's actually done so much as far as hybridizing, you know, Thaumatophyllums, Alocasias. Yeah, her work is excellent. And if she says it, then I'm taking it, okay? Taking her advice. So Larry Ann Garner and the Royal Horticultural Society actually recommend that potting mixes for Alocasia Black Velvet be composed of bark, of loam soil, and of sand. So it wants a lot of aeration for those roots. It doesn't want to be kept in, you know, packed, wet environments. That's what she says. She says water deeply, but infrequently. And I'll be taking that advice and hopefully I'll be coming back to you in a few months with a happier Alocasia Reginula, because my poor Alocasia Reginula. Yeah, but I've got hope, friends, and I definitely recommend it just because, I mean, this plant survived 2 years with me, and if I haven't killed it by now, I've killed others, but if I haven't killed this one, there is hope. There's hope for us. Okay, and the last two plants, I'm closing my notebook because the information online is frustrating and almost nil. Yeah, almost. So the next one I'm going to go with is number 12, and this is Actually, let me get the plate. Move you out of the way. This guy right over here is Homalomena, bronze, black, bronze maiden, black magic. Yeah, so there are a whole bunch of names for this Homalomena. It's gorgeous. I won't deny that. The leaves, the new leaves, start out as this gorgeous bronze right here, and then they eventually darken, right, over time. Problem with this Homalomena is that I don't find a lot of information on it. I don't have a lot, period. So it was a struggle earlier on how to keep it, but since then I've realized that this Homalomena actually enjoys like marshy conditions. Check these roots out. Oh yeah, yeah. So it likes marshy conditions. It likes being kept in a smaller pot, in my observation, just because I've already had 5 propagations, 5 offsets come off of this mother plant. So she enjoys those conditions, and I have her in a little pebble tray with water just for the roots, and yeah, she's good to go. She's a really easy Homalomena to take care of once you get what she likes. The only difficulty really with her is trying to find it and trying to find any kind of decent information, because there's none. I can't find anything. Final plant on my list is my newest favorite plant, and both my husband and I agree on that one. It's just a stunner, and it was a gift to us by Ate May Tolentino. If you know her, then you know that she has such an amazing aroid collection. Yeah, she's got a lot, and her garden is magnificent. And it'll be an upcoming episode for us. So, you know, turn on that notification bell if you haven't, so that you're notified when we do upload her her garden tour, because it's amazing. But I digress. This is something that I never knew existed until Ate May went ahead and gave us one. And check out those dark leaves. Check it out. Just appreciate its gorgeousness. And we're like, oh, cool. It's a beautiful black aglaonema. But it wasn't an aglaonema. That's what the narrator in my head says. But it wasn't an aglaonema. And Melissa had no idea what she was talking about. We had it identified by a couple of our friends who immediately recognized it for what it was. And if you look at the stems in the back, yeah, we've got aerial roots coming out. I haven't seen any aglaonemas do that. At least not any in my collection, where the aerial roots come out almost at the top. Kind of like a philodendron. So that was our first hint that it was an aroid. We forgot to get the ID before we left Ate May's property. And then when we had our friends identify it, they're like, oh, it's a really cool aroid. It is actually a Rhodospatha species that's presently unnamed, but goes by the market name of Redback. And if we turn it around, so I know you see the red in the front, but the backs are all red. And it's just a stunning plant, beautiful plant to have in any collection. Gorgeous, gorgeous. It's naturally shiny. From what I've seen online, a lot of these are sold as terrarium plants, but clearly they get bigger than that. And I've already propagated one because there's so many. I mean, it just, with these aerial roots, I'm assuming that it's easier to propagate just because there's so many aerial roots, and we've already moved one to a pot of its own. So I can't wait to have a lush pot of these guys, and this is where I end my 13th black plant for Halloween or for always. If you guys enjoy this episode, please feel free to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on that notification bell for our future Halloween episodes or any other episodes, because I've got some great ones coming up. If you want to see more of my content, but I only post on YouTube once a week, you can check me out on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as Tasteful Nodes. And if you just want to check out videos or pictures of pretty plants, check me out on Instagram. I'm on Instagram as Tasteful Nodes as well. Okay guys, so that's the end of our first Halloween episode. Episode 1 of 5 is over. I'll see you next week, hopefully for episode 2. Yeah? Okay guys, sa uulitin, keep those notes classy and tasteful. Bye.